It is go time. Welcome to a Dirty Thursday, everybody. I am so keyed up about today's show. Stephen Lewis, of course, our co-host. Dale, the producer, in the studio again today. And live from the 39th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, we have got Myles Tomlinson on. Oh, going to be so fun. Our show today, by the way, brought to you by the Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show. It's the Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, Saturday and Sunday, May 3rd and 4th at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks. Admission is just $10. Kids 12 and under are free with a paying adult, and veterans are absolutely free. There's going to be a raffle with $90,000 worth of prizes, including a Polaris 1000 North Star Ultimate Crew Cab Ranger, a Harley-Davidson Street Glide, and Polaris Sportsman 570, with the net proceeds benefiting the Veterans Honor Flight of North Dakota, Minnesota. Get your tickets by calling Scott at 406-899-5247 or Timothy at 701-739-1605 or go to rrvmnd.org. The Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, Saturday and Sunday, May 3rd and 4th at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks. All right, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to call or text our number here at the studios of Grand Forks. I would 100% put a squeaky toy in every breast implant I did. I thought that one was pretty good.
That one ranks right up there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Nick Curtis, happy birthday, Daryl Oakley. I didn't know it was Daryl's birthday. How about that? Nick Curtis, good morning all. And you know what? Since it's Daryl Oakley's birthday today, along with AJ Foyt's 90th birthday today, let's do this. It's my birthday. All right, there we go. Good morning, Tommy Corcoran. There we go. A couple of things I want to talk about. First off, yeah, it is AJ Foyt's 90th birthday today. Man, I've been watching him. I remember watching him when I was just a little kid. Happy birthday, AJ. I know you're watching out there somewhere. Wild West Shootout, I believe, still going on.
I think that wrapped up last weekend.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah.
Vince didn't do too bad out there.
Yeah, no, we didn't have a ton of our guys down there. Unfortunately, Nate Reinke from Lisbon, he had a wreck and
oh, that's right. Yep.
got into someone and rolled over. That was too bad. But not as many of our guys went to that. I think they kind of save it up more for the Ernie Mincy deal that's coming up at Central Arizona next weekend. So we got a bunch of guys. It's kind of a glorified Wyzota show down in Arizona, so it's always fun to watch.
You know, something that kind of bothered me, Mike Wallace wanted to run Daytona 500 again. They're not letting him.
I didn't read into it. I don't know what was their rationale.
They said it's been too long. Been too long since you've been in a race car and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, you know what, if you can go do your laps and all of that stuff during practice and everything, why not let him get back in the car?
I don't know if Daytona does the same thing as Indy, but there'd have to be a licensing thing. It was like, as long as you can pass your license, why wouldn't they let you?
And you know, poor Mike, he lost his wife last year, and he's just looking for something to do again. And I thought it'd be great to see him. And speaking of Daytona, Amber Balkan lighting it up out there, fastest in practicing here the other day, and that's pretty cool. Which, by the way, Amber Balkan going to be on the show February 6th. We'll have her on Dirty Thursday live from Daytona. So. That's going to be a good time, too.
She definitely knows how to get around that place. She's something like plus 59 in the last 3 races she's run there. So
isn't that crazy? Yeah. Casa Grande and Golden Isle this weekend. There we go. Brendan Grover. Morning, boys. Boy, we got a whole crew here today.
Oh, yeah, with Golden Isle coming up. So that'll be Cole Babcock's Lucas Oil debut. He's with Dan Ebert. I think he's the tire guy this year.
Oh, that's right.
So he's traveling full-time with them this year. So.
Okay. What's, is he leaving the missus behind here or what?
Yeah, I think... I don't want to say.
I mean, they're not an official Mr. and Mrs., but yeah.
But so he'll be gone for a good stretch. Lucas Oil doesn't come up here past Houston, so he'll be gone quite a bit.
Be gone a lot. Should we bring him in, our guest today?
Yeah.
He's down at the 39th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals. Race fans, put your hands together for Myles Tomlinson. He is live right now with us.
The jig is up, the news is out, they finally found me. Okay.
Wow. I should have had that. Yeah, there you go. It's like going to Devil's Lake. How you doing, Myles?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Oh, Ben, we've been itching to get you on for a long time. How is it going down? Your first time at the Chili Bowl? Well, maybe you've been there as a spectator, but is this your first time down there?
No, this is my first time. Yep, this is the first time ever being in the building. So It's been an experience for sure. It's a whirlwind, right? It's been great. We had some tough luck last night. We'll get into that, but that's just racing. Other than that, the whole experience has been absolutely amazing.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, Myles? I mean, I know that, you won the Western Renegade Sprint Series and things like that, but I want to know about Myles Tomlinson, the guy not in a race car.
Yeah, so I'm 33 years old. I've been married it'll be 4 years this year. I have two little boys, Cannon, he's 3, and Logan, he just turned 1 last week. I work at Rainbow Energy Center. It's a coal-fired power plant in Falkirk, North Dakota. It's about 25 minutes from where we live. We're right in between Bismarck and Minot. Go to work every day, race and shoot darts. Those are my 2 hobbies. So that's.
So you're a dart guy.
I'm not very good. We just shoot at our local in-town deal, so it's more of a get-together for fun. We all know what it's like in North Dakota in the winter, right? It's freezing cold, so
yeah,
go in the bar and shoot darts and have fun.
I have to jump in there. I accidentally won a game here with Curtis a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I like the indoor sports. As long as there's beer involved.
Yeah.
2 young boys, that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I always say I ruined them already, right? They love racing.
Yeah.
Stick and ball sports we'll see, but they're all in on the race car stuff. It's cars. It's great for me as an adult. I can play with toy cars again, and I'm not a weirdo, right?
That is awesome. Have the boys already got an interest in going fast around dirt tracks?
Oh yeah, we have one of them little electric, like whatever. It's a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest, he gets in it, and that thing is wide open. So we might be in trouble there when he gets older. But yeah, it's go. We're fast all the time, and I wish I had half the energy they did.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. Heather McDonald says that Wallace deal in Daytona is BS. Good morning, Heather. I know their banquet's coming up too soon here at Devil's Egg Speedway. The Godfather doing Godfather things. Dusty Lawson. There we go. And feel free to jump in whenever you want. But how did this whole Chili Bowl thing come to? How did this all happen for you, Myles? I mean, we all know you run a wingless sprint, and plus I want to know the difference too between what you're running out there and what you would run around here. But how did the whole Chili Bowl thing come to fruition for you?
Well, so last year, me and my wife have been talking about this we've been together 6 years. We've been talking about it forever. Even back, I started racing mods. Even when I raced mods, I always wanted to do the Chili Bowl once. It's a place where everybody from all different disciplines get together and they race these cars. So last year I was actually talking to Tim Eskison, and he kind of pointed me in the direction of like how you go about it, because he's ran it a few years, and just was like, well, you got to look here or ask these guys. And about 2 months before the Chili Bowl here, I seen a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook post, looking for a driver for the Chili Bowl. So I texted him and just gave him, and we're talking, and I gave him my background of what I do racing a non-wing sprint car. And I told him flat out, like, zero midget experience. So I got no idea what I'm walking into, but we're interested in doing it. And he actually is the guy racing tonight, AJ Johnson, for our team. And he said, okay, call this number. This is my car owner's name. Talk to him. So I called him and gave him the same spiel, and we visited for about 2 hours that day. And at the end of it, he's like, yep, let's do it. So we got signed the contract to go race for him, and then get your stuff together and figure out how you're getting down there, right? It's pretty simple. The hardest thing was knowing who to ask and who to talk to get involved in the deal. So.
Now, when you say our team, why don't you go ahead, Myles, talk a little bit more about your team? You can throw out any sponsorship deals that are out there. And I also wanted to know, when you went down there then, did you have to bring your own seat like you usually have to do? And if so, how long did it take for you to get fitted into that car?
Right. So our team is GR22 Motorsports. They're based out of Boise, Idaho. They do a little bit of racing up there and into Washington and Northern California a couple times a year, and then mainly a Chili Bowl team. The car owner's name is Garland Reisner. He lives up there. He raced midgets way back in the day. Actually raced against Jeff Gordon back in the day when Gordon was coming up when he was a kid. So he's been around it a long time, and it's a 3-car team. So it's myself and then Jack France. He drives a F1 stock car in the United Kingdom. So for people who don't know, look those up. If you've ever seen like a New Zealand super stock, they have like the battle bars on the sides.
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
car.
With the wing. Okay.
Yep.
So he races that, and they race those out there about 10 months out of the year. And this is his second Chili Bowl this year with Garland's team. And then we have AJ. He's our most experienced guy. He races a 410 non-wing sprint car in Oskaloosa and out in that area around Knoxville, Iowa, and eastern Iowa. And he's got about 8 years of experience at the Chili Bowl. I think he told me this was his 7th or 8th year. And he's a wheel man. I mean, he's so good in the midget, and he really helped me out a ton. Getting comfortable in the car and just driving advice. So he's been an asset to me and to the team. Sponsors for me are Extreme Cleaning LLC. They're based out of Mandan, Bismarck, Rapid City, or Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they also have an office in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Wow.
It's a national brand company, and they do restaurant cleaning service. They clean out your ducts and stuff. So as your ducts get full of grime and grease and all that, it's a health and human services company. It's really great, and it is good for companies to use that. And then I have Pro Egg Solutions, which is Corey Pong. He drives non-wing sprint cars with me.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of drone spraying and rock picking and core sampling for guys for a lot of in the agricultural industry. And then I also have Total Heating and Air out of Devil's Lake. Steve Nordrum, another guy who races with me, and they do heating and air and for Devil's Lake and the surrounding areas. They're even going all the way to Minot. That thing is growing huge for him. So we couldn't do this without those 3 companies. They are helping us pay our way, get down here, get in, people to come down. We drove down, so fuel for that, place to stay, all that stuff. Sponsors are huge, and I'm very grateful that these guys believed in me enough to give their hard-earned money up to let me live my dream.
Wow. Hey, how big of a difference is there between running your wingless sprint and a midget?
It's hard to explain. I only have 30 laps in a midget, so I'm still learning. Wheel input is a lot different. You don't use the wheel a lot. You drive a lot with your feet.
Yep.
So to me, the modify racing actually has helped me adapt a lot quicker, because in our cars, we're limited horsepower in the non-wing cars. So it's a lot of stomp and steer, right? Like you're on the gas a lot. You're using a lot of wheel to get the car where you want it on entry. And in these, you kind of just let the car get to where you want it on entry, and then you're counteracting it to keep it there. But once you're in the corner and stuff, like getting over on the right rear and getting it centered back up on exit is a lot of the same. And the power difference is the biggest thing. We're in a small building. We're running 11-second. I ran an 11.8 in hot laps the other night. That's moving. That's faster than I've ever went, even in Grand Forks. So the speed it took me a while to get used to. And then, once I got used to that, it's like, okay, let's go and race this thing. We know what we're doing, and got comfortable quick. And it's pretty close, but there is differences.
Now, people who aren't familiar with the Chili Bowl, do you know offhand, Myles, how many cars are in the Chili Bowl? Because it's like 300 or 400.
It's north of 3 for sure this year, right?
So it was 388 guys pre-entered. I think by when it's all said and done, we're going to be at that like 360, 370. Guys blow engines or guys wreck their cars by the time Saturday comes around. So it's 388 guys, and it's, you look, we were talking last night with the guys, and it's like, you look at the guys who don't make the A main, and they'd make an A main in their whatever cars they race most of the time.
Yeah.
Throughout the field, and it's crazy, man. There's no junk in the building either. There I shouldn't say that. We saw one car that I wouldn't drive in that building. The rest of them, everything it's very professional. I'm thoroughly impressed with all the teams and our team too. I mean, we're constantly making sure our cars look sharp, and we want to be professional, and it's crazy. It's absolutely unbelievable to take in person.
Now, with numbers like that, we're used to seeing a B main. Once in a while, we'll see a C main. But I mean, you guys are up like the TUV mains up there. I mean, you guys have got there's so many cars that the mains go. I don't even know what they would go up to in the alphabet.
Not only that. So when do they? So like, I think some of the early ones are just single letter, but then there's like double K, double L, double M. Like there's it's not just one M main. There's two of them. Like, yeah. So how does that end up boiling down?
So on Saturday, they actually changed the format a couple years ago. So it used to go to like, you talk about like double A,
okay,
mains, but now they allow more transfers, and that allows them to race more cars in the mains.
Okay.
So this year it's going to be like Q or R is going to be the lowest main you're in, but there's two of them. So it's an R1 and an R2.
Oh, okay.
And take the top 5 out of that, or top 6, excuse me, all the way up, and then so if you make it in that, then you move up to the next one. So on Saturday, we just race until we don't make the transfer. So we could have one race, we could have 6.
Sure. You just keep going as long as you move up from main to main to main to main.
And that's what ends up being one of the most exciting things of the whole deal is when someone like starts off at like noon in the end, and then pretty soon they're still racing at 3, and they're running the alphabet, as they say.
Yep. So like they always talk about JJ Yaley went from the I to the B one year, and that's like incredible. So a lot of guys can do 2 or 3. It's when the guys start getting to the moving up 4 or 5 A mains that people really get excited. And if you can get the turn 2 rowdies going for you, then you're pretty much Chili Bowl lore, right? Like if they're going wild for you over in turn 2, you know you're doing something right.
Wow. We got a question from Kaylee. What happens if a guy is driving for someone and wrecks their car? Is that cost typically on the driver or the car owner? Good question.
It's all situational, right? So like last night I got in a wreck, and it was just something where it was completely out of my control. So that stuff would be on the car owner. But if you go blazing it in there and take yourself out and somebody else, then it all depends on what contract you sign, right?
Sure.
So some guys sign a contract where they're going to come race that car, and whatever happens, happens. Some guys sign a contract where if you're at fault for a caution, you're expected to pay up to a certain amount of money.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Corey Palm says if Myles runs like last night, we'll have soup on Saturday. Now, you were in, I believe it was at the C Main last night. We've got an in-car camera of this race. Dale, can we play that?
Yep.
You want to do that now?
Yep.
And Myles, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. Probably not. But we're gonna watch through. We did cut a little bit out of it. The getting ready to go and before the green flags and things. But what I saw was very tough to pass. Especially your draw means a lot. But we're going to see what happened. You just basically had a little bad luck last night.
Yeah, I can go through it a little bit while they're watching it. Yeah, we started out 12th in the C, and we went down into turn 1, and I was up top, so I was going to rip the top and try to, just go above the guys. Then 2 rows in front of me, a car got sideways and spun out, and I had lifted to avoid, and I turned to the right. Well, there was a car below me, and he shot up the track, and I just stabbed the brake to try to avoid them. And in those cars, the compression's so high on the engines that if you stab the brake like that, it just kills the car.
Right.
That really hurt us because Chili Bowl, just like Grand Forks, it's sprint car rules. It doesn't matter if you're the cause of the yellow or not. If you're stopped, you go to the tail.
Oh, sure.
So we were stopped on the racetrack. So when we got going, they put us tail in Charlie. And then we got out and, again, I'm in the back now and I need experience. I got like 20 laps in the car at this time. So I wanted to run the top. It wasn't all the way up to the wall yet. and just see if I could do it. Guys that have watched me race forever, excluding Grand Forks at River Cities, I like to run the top if it's there. So I went up there and it felt really good in 1 and 2. We went into 3 and 4 and I was really hooked up good. And then we started passing and then as you're going in this deal, it's just like a lot of it is just go where the guys aren't that are in front of you because you need to get up to 4th to make the B main. So we started 17th and we were picking guys off and made some really good moves and we're racing hard. And I had been running the top. And one of the guys that was in my C main, I've watched the Chili Bowl enough. He's usually fairly good. So I was trying to follow him and he was kind of using the bottom. So I tried that for a couple laps and it wasn't really working for me. So I went back up to the top and I actually cleared a guy, but I wasn't aware that I was fully clear of him to go back to the top coming off turn 2. So I just drove down into 3 on the bottom. I'm like, I'll run the bottom here, then I'll get back up to the top. And when I went down into 3, I seen the car spinning. One of the cars in front of me had turned it sideways, and I figured he'd just stay up there. Well, then he just kept coming down, and pretty soon there was nowhere for me to go, and I slammed into him.
Oh man!
It ended up breaking loose oil line on the car. So it's not in the video, but we did get fired back off. But when I went to go, it was puking oil out of the car, and I didn't want to wreck our engine, so I just shut her down and pulled into the infield, and that kind of ended our night. But we went from 17th to 9th in 7 laps. I don't think we would have got to 4th, but I think I could have got that car that was in front of me that spun, and there was one more.
Sure.
So we would have went 17th to 7th, and for me, for this deal, I just wanted to pass cars. There's no expectations. I was a little down after the heat race just because you want to do good, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the whole building wants to do good, but the fact of the matter is, depending on how the racetrack is it's the thing for everybody. So in my heat race, nobody passed anybody because the track was really fast. That's
sure.
Part of Chili Bowl.
Before we do show that footage from last night, we got somebody on the phone here. Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. You bet.
Who is this?
This is Chad Hoff.
How you doing, buddy?
Wait, who?
You know that big bald guy?
Big
bald
that guy.
Yeah, the other half of the Bowring boys. How you doing, brother?
Family? I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good. We were getting ready to show some footage, and I get this note flung in front of me saying, Hoff on phone.
He sounds like he's in a different time zone or something. It's weird. I don't know.
Was it like 8 o'clock in the morning over there?
It's only 10:24 here, guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I don't even think the sun's
I gotta
up
remember
over
to call. Yeah, I had to. It's so old over here. I'm still pedaling it underneath my desk to make sure that I have electricity.
How's it going over there out west, my friend?
It's going great. I saw you had Myles on here, Godfather himself.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited to call in. I keep on trying to call in, but I keep on forgetting about the damn time change. So Doogie called me. He's like, you got to remember to call in. Like, I've been trying. It's every time I do, it's noon.
Yeah. Hey, I can tell you this right now. We miss you, brother.
I miss you guys, man. I watch the show all the time. It's been awesome. Steven, you're doing a hell of a job, buddy.
I was about to say the viewers definitely miss you because look what they're stuck with now. So
he does a great. Well, the thing is, Chad, he's smarter than both of us combined when it comes to racing.
Yeah. Well,
and
that's a true statement.
I've got the same looks for radio like everyone, so that helps too.
And he's not actually wearing any Winnipeg Jets apparel today, too, so that's a plus right there.
I do notice that John doesn't pan over to Steven very much, so yeah, he's definitely got a face for radio.
I try.
No, you guys are doing a great job. I just love it, man. I miss you guys so much. Myles, keep on rolling hard up there. I think, you went 17th and 9th?
Yes, sir.
Hey, dude, that's flipping awesome.
Thank you.
You know, watching The Godfather is pretty damn cool. You know, who gave you that nickname, by the way?
I believe it was you.
Oh my goodness.
How about that?
Oh my goodness. No, much love to all you guys. I want to call and say hi. Miss you all very much, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Hey, man, we miss you
well,
too,
I think
brother.
before you go, Myles, when are you guys in Dickinson? It's right away in May, right?
Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend. I believe it's the 25th. 24th or 25th. I don't
Okay.
have this.
You will see me there.
I'm definitely thinking about making that trip. So
Well,
we'll
are
see
you
what
going to be
happens, but-
racing full time, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't. It won't be to race it, but yeah, I'm definitely thinking about making the trip out there just to, touch base or whatever. So.
Well, hell yeah, you could stay at my place too.
Cool.
All right.
But no, to see you down here, Myles, I'll be there to watch that for sure.
Sounds good. It's always a good time. Track's usually pretty good when we're there, so it'll be fun.
Yeah. Awesome, bud. Well, keep on rolling up there. Chili Bowl, have some fun. Guys, love you. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care, brother.
See you, Chad.
Peace out, Chad. All right. How about that?
Later,
Chad
bud.
Hoff.
Appreciate it.
Nick Curtis says, who's that guy? Jeff Cornell's Chewy. Hello from southern Minnesota. How you doing, Chewy? No way, it's Chad. Corey Litton. Man, we got guys watching from all over the place. All right, let's run this footage from last night because I think Steven and I probably need to refill anyway. So let's do that.
I'll actually probably run through it a little bit myself here too, since he kind of already did, but you kind of alluded to it too. I was watching this just before I came over here. I did like that you were searching. You weren't just riding somewhere and whatever. Like you said, you're just kind of taking stock of what was going on and do I go high, do I go low? You were doing what you needed to do in that spot in the race to try and pick guys off.
Yeah, and especially even if we wouldn't have the issue lap 1 there. I mean, when you're in a position where you're trying to get to a transfer, you have to have a car good enough to move around, and that's something that I wanted to say too. Like Garland and his crew, there's 7 guys on our pit crew. I mean, they're constantly working and checking the racetrack, and they had me set up to go forward. And you can do a lot as a driver, but if you have the car to be able to do it, it makes it so much easier and gives you so much more confidence. So we're moving, changing lanes, trying to find what works, trying to be just a little bit better than guys, catch guys making mistakes, so that's what you're really trying to do to get as far up as you can, and every couple cars you pass is a main in this deal. So when we get rolling here after the first yellow, it's like we're picking guys off, we're moving up mains, and that's what you want. You don't want to go right away in the morning. You want the track to be good by the time you get out to race. So.
Right. And that's kind of what happened here. We did the after the first, and then I think we're leading up to what ended up ending your night here. But yeah, there it is right there. It kind of accordioned up in front of you the first time is what ended up the first restart. And then, like we said, the guy kind of spun and kept coming, and there was nowhere for you to go.
Yeah, and it's just a racing deal. It stinks, right? Because everybody in the building's got a lot of experience, so you don't expect the guy to loop it on his own like that. But it is what it is. It's just racing, and part of the Chili Bowl is you got to stay out of the crap, right? And we just end up being in the crap. So, and that's part of it.
Well, that was another thing. So, your heat race, you said you got mud on there, so there's no video of that or whatever. But the heat race before yours was at least 1 yellow and 1 big red. Jake Newman went over and got caught in the catch fence or whatever. But
yep.
So it was one of those things. I looked at the lineup and I was like, well, here he's got a poor draw, but his passing points, so whatever. But then you end up having a clean and green one. There's really nowhere to go, no passes to make there. So you're just kind of behind the 8 ball from the get go last night.
Right, and you have 1 or 2 opportunities to pass when the racetrack's fast, and I just. I'm man enough to admit I'm not confident enough in the car yet to take those opportunities, especially with the track being as fast as it is. And that's kind of what we were hoping as a team is you get a couple cars to crash out. Well, I can't lose passing points because I'm dead last. So all I can do is gain. So you get 1 or 2 guys to crash. That's huge. That puts you at the front of the C. You pass 3 cars. That puts you in the qualifiers. So that's what we were kind of banking on. And it just ended up being, kudos to the guys in my heat, right? They were all great race car drivers, and we were able to get through it unscathed. But at the same time, from my position, I was kind of hoping for some carnage.
I don't ever want anyone to wreck either, but I was just like, if this heat race is anything like the last one, he'll get a couple of spots just off of natural wrecks, and here it goes green to checkered. So
yeah. So it was what it was. The car was really good. I'm not used to going that fast in them yet, so. There's a little bit on my end that I need to get better at, and that's just going to come with experience.
All right. Cameron Nordrum says had to clean up a lot of oil last night. I tell you what, we're going to take a short little break here on a Dirty Thursday. Myles Tomlinson will be back live from the Chili Bowl Nationals, and we'll be right back after this. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. Well, when it comes time for an oil change, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, most changes are done in about 15 minutes. Valvoline Instant Oil Change does more too. Tranny and coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries. And included in your oil change, they're going to top off your fluids, check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, and cabin air filter too. And you get discounts for fleets and the military. You know, they can text and email invoices and coupons and mention Grand Forks Best Source and get $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They're open Monday through Saturday with no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is also available if you live in Grand Forks. And Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now hiring. If you'd like to join their team as an assistant manager, customer service rep, or lube tech, stop in to find out more. Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a complete oil change and more. They're at 3325 South 38th Street or call them 701-780-8462 and make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. Don't miss the 4th annual Dwayne Bry Memorial Fun Run in Manville, Saturday, January 18th, brought to you by the Turtle River Rough Rider Snowmobile Club. Register your sled for just $10 per rider with many different classes depending on what you bring. Registration begins at 9 with judging starting at 11 and a ride to the warming shelter at noon. And of course, awards with a raffle and food starting at 4:30 at the Manville Community Center. What a great vintage show. It's Saturday, January 18th, the 4th annual Dwayne Bry Fun Run with many classes, raffles, and food. Brought to you by the Turtle River Rough Rider Snowmobile Club. Hope to see you there. Back on a Dirty Thursday, Myles Tomlinson down at the 39th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals. Kevin Braggett, good luck on Saturday, Myles. Deanne's watching. Good luck the rest of the week, Myles. Glad to see everybody's watching us today. Should we look at some pictures? What do we want?
I was going to say, I have a question for Myles before we jump into photos. I got to see a lot in action this summer at Devils Lake Speedway. There's one night in particular where you had a hell of a night. You voluntarily participated in the Back Road Challenge, and you won. You pulled it off. It's the first time I ever got to call anything like that, and just seeing you pull it off, it was a very memorable race. I'm just curious on your reflections from that race, and was that your first ever Back Road Challenge?
Yeah, that's the first one that I won. We did one the year before in Grand Forks, and that did not go good. Yeah, it was the crazy night, right? I believe there was 14 cars, so we started 14 or 15, so we started back there. And when you start in the back, you're trying to pick off as many as you can in the first lap before we all get spread out. In the non-wing cars, you know, when you get in open air, you can drive them a lot differently than when you're in traffic with guys. So being in clean air is really important to make really fast laps. So you don't want to let them get too far away. And I think after the first, I think we had one yellow, and I ended up getting up to 5th by the time the yellow came out, and there was like 8 laps left to go. And I believe I was using the diamond line in 1 and 2 that night, and then rolling the bottom in 3 and 4. And we were just able to pick guys off, and then, you know, Eric was leading, and he was kind of missing it coming out of 3 and 4 on the bottom. It had gotten pretty, the groove had gotten pretty narrow on the bottom, and we were just able to keep the left rear in it and stick it right down by the tire. And I think it was like 2 laps to go we passed him, or maybe it was even on the white flag lap. But yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. At the beginning of the year, we railed off 3 in a row there, and to have your confidence is really high when you start the year off like that. And the rest of the year showed, you know, we ran up front a lot last year again, and it's fun. It's always fun to win races with my group, but it's just fun to race with my guys. It's a completely family deal. We all are in it together, and so we race with a lot of respect, and it's just a lot of fun.
Now, Myles, do you have to draw the line on these start from the back because they offer you more money? But I know guys now that are running with the unlimited Gnosis sprints, especially, they'll get that challenge, and they are to the point now where they're declining because, okay, do I want to start from the back and tear up a $2,000 rear end to win an extra $1,000? Blah blah blah. But do you know how that goes? Is there a limit where you just got to say, you know what, it's not worth the wear and tear on my race car?
Yeah, so the way our format is you have to win 2 features in a row to be up for it, and then you can either take it or not take it. So
okay.
if you don't take it and you win, then you can take it the next week. If you don't take it and you don't win, then you can't take it.
Okay.
So it's basically what it was created for is we want parity and we want it to be a show, you know, so we don't want one guy to come in and win 18 of our 30 races.
Yeah, you got to put a bounty on him or something.
Right. So
this kind of started with Adam too, didn't it?
Yeah. So we all know, like, Adam should be racing a 410 non-wing sprint car. You know, if there was 410 non-wing sprint cars up here, he would race it and he would win a lot of races in it. He's unbelievable in a non-wing car, and he does so good in this wing deal. It's hard for me to talk about. I'm so proud of him because for what they have going on for their team and what he's able to do, his ability is taking him a long ways in that deal. But yeah, that's how it started was, you know, we'll try to get Adam in the back and he's going to put on a show to get to the front because he's that good. And then now we've been able to use it for everybody else too. So
okay, I got one more question before we show some pictures here from Corey Litton, and this is the first I've ever heard of this. How'd you get the nickname Monster Truck?
Oh man, that's a good story. Yeah, so in the mod days, I got the nickname Monster Truck Myles. So me and my best friend back home, he lives in Turtle Lake. He actually still races mods, Isaac Sondrel. We're visiting one night at his place or whatever, and he's like, we're talking about wrecking stuff and racing and all this, and he's talking to me, he's like, yeah, you don't wreck a lot, but when you do, it's bad. And I had just recently raced in Williston, and I had wheel hopped a guy, so both my front tires were like, I was wheeling down the front straightaway and broke a bunch of stuff. So he's like, it was like a monster truck. And he looks over at me and goes, Monster Truck Myles.
There you go.
Like, you know how when you're really good friends with somebody, they poke at you. So so it got around to the pits, and then pretty soon they were calling me that for quite a few years actually, till I got good enough to run up front, and then it kind of started to go away.
And the rest is history. Let's take a look at some pictures here. Stephen Lewis, I know you provided most of these pictures. If I don't know if Myles can see them or what from there, but go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, So what Dale's gonna do here is he's gonna put his phone in front of the camera that you're looking at, Myles. Hopefully you can see.
A little bit of a delay, but
yeah, it will be on a little bit of a delay, but it'll be better than not seeing him. So.
Right. You want me to go up and hold the phone?
I should be able to get it here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, here we go. It's just a little bit of a delay. There we go.
So I had to start off with Mike.
Yep.
That's your dad there. You got any stories from those days? This is 95. This is the 1 year we ran modifieds here. He was one of the top guys here.
Yep, so that's from 95. You're correct. I believe that is at Grand Forks. I was probably 3-4 years old then.
Wow.
I don't remember going to Grand Forks at that age. I remember going to like Greenbush a lot, and then Hamilton, the local track up where we used to put in Cavalier. Dad was so good, right? Back then he was really good. I believe this year he ran second in the points in Grand Forks to Bob Smith. I believe he's from Bemidji.
Yep.
And Dad always talks about that year in Grand Forks. There was one night where they were able to hold it wide open around Grand Forks, which people who have raced there know how crazy that is to be able to do that, even in a modify. So yeah, really good. That I actually have a tribute car in 2014 and 2015. I had the exact same paint scheme as that car.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at this.
So before we get to this one, Mike and I had year 2015 on or whatever, so I went on Tomlinson Racing and I picked a couple of the earlier ones or whatever. So this is at FKA, but I don't know what years you would have ran here because this would have been after me. So
I'm digging the mullet.
This is like 03 to 06 ish somewhere. Would I be right by that? Or?
Yeah, I think it was like half of 02 and then into 03.
Okay.
We at the kart track on Wednesday nights, and we did that for 2 years. That was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. Even as a little kid, we were working on the carts, and we lived an hour and a half away on a Wednesday night.
I was thinking that too. Making that trip from Cavalier every week is not on a Wednesday is tough too.
Yep, and so Dad, he worked my dad worked all the time when we were growing up, so he's working and we're trying to do this, and it just got to be to a point where it just didn't make sense to keep doing it, so we did it for about a year and a half and got out of it. I actually raced against like Jack Croker and Jackson Moffitt and guys like that back in the day. Yep.
So I had to borrow this one because this was before. So Mike was the first one to catch you on camera in 2015. I didn't realize that you were a sport mod first.
Yep. So I started in 2013 in the sport mod. Actually, my now sister-in-law is the one who took that picture. So she wasn't my sister-in-law then, but she is now.
Wow.
That's at our home track in Underwood before we reconfigured it. Back then, it had a lot less banking, but yeah, that was my first car. It was a 2010 Shaw Sport Mod. My rookie year, we wrecked a lot of stuff with that car. We were really fast when we finished, but we didn't finish a lot.
So this is what you're saying. This is a tribute. It makes sense now. It does look like it.
No, it'll be 2014 and 2015. That'll be that one there.
Yep.
One. Yep.
Oh, I forgot the delay. Yep.
That's a nice looking car.
Yeah, so that was my second year in the sport mod. Much better year. I kind of learned racecraft and how to avoid wrecks, and we ran really good. We actually were third in the points at all three tracks we raced points at that year. We won a feature that year. Same car. We actually tore it down to bare frame and repainted it, and then we ran that car in Minot, Williston, and then that was when Devil's Lake we did like a 5-night series, which unfortunate that it didn't work out financially, because that was by far my favorite place to race the sport mod. But yeah, so we did that year. That was a really good year for us.
As we're about to see here how good it was, I had to take a picture of that baby face there.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, so if it's the one I'm thinking of, I can't see it yet, but that was my first feature win in Minot in the sport mod. It was actually a last corner pass on the top to win. And back in those days was the oil field boom was going on, so there's 3,000 people in the grandstand.
Oh, wow.
So I was pretty pumped and get to go down. Minot is a lot like Grand Forks in that way. There's so much history, and it's such a big racing community that that was really special. It was actually like 25 years in between. My dad had won the Memorial Day race in Minot, and I won the exact same day 25 years later. So
wow, that is freaking cool. I want to just interrupt. Nolan Olmstead said he sent Dale a couple of pics of him and Myles, but I don't think we'll be able to get him on because it takes a while to get this stuff going, but that sucks. That's too bad. All right, let's keep rolling here.
So this looks like an A mod. This is mine on again. This is when our picks start coming in. But
yep, that's my first year in the A mod. So what the story behind that is we wanted to update the race car, and the two race cars I always wanted to drive growing up were A mods. They weren't called A mods then. They were just modifies, but A mods and sprint cars. And I learned pretty early that I wasn't going to have a budget to do a good 410 program. So we wanted to go the modify route. So we went down and picked up a Jet A mod. We actually got a deal on it since we bought it as a frame and bought every part for it unassembled. And then we built that in our shop and raced it. That's my rookie year. So that's 2016, my second year. We were running a little better. We went with a simpler design that year. We raced all over. We did like Sanders Modified Challenge they used to have in southern North Dakota. We raced that, raced in Jamestown. When I was racing mods, we were racing anywhere from 40 to 60 nights a year. So we were going all over with that one.
This would have been the first time I'd have seen you on the Sanders deal when you came out east here. So.
Yeah, and actually that was like my best weekend of the year. I think we made 3. The only show we didn't make was in Fargo, and we actually ran, I believe, 9th or 10th on the finale night in Glendon, which is cool. So this
picture's in Ada if we're in the blue and red car.
Yep. So I'm really good friends with Tyler Hall. He's I was in his wedding. We're still great friends to this day. So we come out and race out on the eastern end of the state modifies quite a bit. I actually won my first feature this year at Jamestown with that car. This is the same car, so it's still a 2015 Jet. We were still running it and just kept tweaking on it and getting it better and better, and then obviously gaining experience. At this point, I'm probably this year or the next year, I would have got over 100 nights in a modify at this point. So.
Wow.
Now, I can tell this is from Jamestown in 2018. You were saying earlier, like, I wanted to either run a modified or a sprint car, but I can definitely tell you wanted to drive the modified like a sprint car every once in a while. So.
Yeah. The mods like the slick stuff, and I was on that train for a while. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I like to race on the slick, but that's what happens when you race on the slick and you stand on the gas. Yeah, that was 18. That was a good year. We won a feature in Glendon that year with that car. Same car, still the 2015. We started getting a lot better. I believe we were 6th in the points in Mandan, and we were like 6th or 7th in the points in Minot. So the 2 big tracks in this area, we started being able to compete with the top guys, in 2018.
Speaking of that Glendon win.
There you go.
The beard has appeared now.
Yep. The beard's back. Yeah.
The beard is back.
I couldn't grow a beard till I was about 26 years old without it looking like a mangy coyote. So once I could grow it, I started growing it out.
Hey, no, wait, I'm almost offended there, Myles. I'm, for the first time in my life, am trying to grow a beard right now. I will be 60 years old next month. And here's the story behind my beard, because it looks like hell. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that. My beard looks like hell. Look.
It's also January, like who cares? But
yeah, it makes me look like I'm about 80. And I told my wife, I said, okay, I'll cut it all off after Christmas. I'll leave the foo on like I normally do. But then, wouldn't you know it, one of my Christmas gifts was a thing of beard oil. Oh my God, I'm gonna keep growing it till I run out of beard oil. There we go. Okay, I'm sorry I had to interrupt.
It was good to give Dale a rest there.
There we go. His arm is cramping up.
Yeah. It's all good.
So that Glendon win, we started 3rd, and for whatever reason, we've always been really, really good there. And I had got to the lead, and then the track started taking rubber, and me and Mike Johnson raced side by side for like 4 of the last 8 laps, and I was able to hold him off and get the win. So that was really cool.
Nice.
Mike's a great race car driver, always has been, so it was great to hold him off.
So here's a question I got. So here's the final. I don't know if it's come up yet. The orange and blue version. So did you run your whole AMOD career with this jet frame?
So this year was, we were going to go all out. So I actually went and bought a brand new jet car that year.
Oh.
So this is the 2019 Jet. And then I'm a big Florida Gators fan. So I've always liked orange and blue. So I wanted to have an orange and blue car. And then this year we had an amazing year in the modifies as far as racing goes. So I've just always stuck with orange and blue, or some form of orange and blue. I suppose it's superstition now, right? Like you do good, you want to do what you do good in. So
right.
That was a great car. We ran 2nd 6 times that year in 43 races. We made 1 mod tour race, made the legendary 100, which was a 10 grand to win race in Mandan. That was a really good race car. There's my before my first sprint car, before my first welcome to sprint car racing moment.
I left lap 2 out. We're only gonna look at lap 1. Just I don't want to put bad juju on Saturday morning, but just to tell the viewers before you tell the story, this is lap 1 of the heat race, and I'll let you take over for lap 2, I guess.
Hold on a second.
Well, arrogance is the terrible thing, right? You race A mods in Western North Dakota. That's the highest level you can race. So you get in a sprint car and you think you're this big time modify racer. You run up front often, or enough to think you're pretty good. So we're racing and getting a heat race first night in the sprint car, and I'm running the bottom, and I know I'm faster than the two guys in front of us. So I'm like, I'm gonna go set this thing on the top. I like to run the top anyway, and I did what you're not supposed to do in a sprint car. We got tight, and in the A mod, when you get tight, you roll the throttle out and hit the brake, and that sets the nose down on the right front and it helps you turn. Well, in a sprint car, when you roll the throttle out, it straightens the race car out. Well, so when it did that, it jumped the cushion, and then all I saw was grass, and it was not good. I was about 25 feet in the air and rolled her into the fence and jumped the frame on that one.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Corey was absolutely adamant with me when I tried it that one night about the throttle thing, and I never would have thought that. You know what I mean? So,
Hey,
just like with the midget deal here too, you have to be in the throttle. If you get all the way out of it, it sets the car down and settles it out, and you're going to the right.
right.
So this is my first sprint car season, Western Renegade season. This is my Maxim that I've raced since then.
You've run the same car each of the 5 seasons then.
Yep. This year, hopefully, if I can get it done, we'll have a different car just to do something different. And then we're going to keep the Maxim as a spare. That car's been so good to me, I don't dare sell it or get rid of it. So, but that was the first year on that car.
We caught a pic with you with some I don't know,
look at the tan on that leg.
some ugly guy there interviewing you.
Hey, Kaylee wants to know, Myles, what was the deciding factor to jumping up to sprint cars?
I think to parlay into that as we get into the Renegade pictures, if you want to tell the story about getting the Renegade thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2018, 2019, we were racing mods, and it's a lot of work. I mean, modify racing is a absolute ton of work. It's basically a second job. So the work was starting to wear on me, getting burnt out, and we were running good, but then you have expectations to run good then. So, when you don't run good, it's even more frustrating. And the cost, I mean, I built that car in 2019. We did the same thing we did before, so we got a deal on this. But by the time that modify was said and done, it was $32,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of money, and people that race, I mean, I don't know of anybody that can get a loan for a race car, but we do everything cash in hand, so you got to have the money available to do it. So it was just a lot, and then in 2019, I started dating my wife, and we were talking throughout the summer, like, just too serious. The racing is so competitive, and I know a lot of guys race because of the competition aspect, but I just wanted to have fun again. So my dad is always watching YouTube videos in our shop. Yeah, there's my wife right there.
There you go.
Thanks for waving.
I believe that was her.
You hope it is.
It might have been Olivia, but
no, it's you guys. That's thanks for waving. So
yeah, thanks for waving. So anyway, my dad always has YouTube on our shop, and we're watching racing, and we're always talking about racing and stuff. And he's like, "You got to watch this or whatever." And it was the Upper Midwest Sprint Car Series, which is what we're involved in now. And I'm like, whatever, Dad's always watching stuff. But then we just kept having videos come up, and I watched a race from 2018 in Princeton, and I'm up at the shop by myself, and I'm watching this, and the racing is phenomenal. I mean, front to back, much like what we are like now 5 years into this, the racing is amazing. And it really got my gears turning, and we reached out to Ron Bernhagen, who is the creator of this type of car in series, and just started talking to him about it. And he was big on the affordability and the fun aspect of it. So we decided that we wanted to go that route. So the Maxim that I've been racing, granted we have inflation nowadays, so it's going to be more in the cost of it. But that car, when I built that car, it was $8,700 turnkey.
Wow.
So you compare that to $32,000.
A quarter of the price of your last modified, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we can wreck a lot of sprint cars before I have a modify into it. Not that I want to, but.
Wow.
Well, you've only wrecked the one, so.
Yeah.
And we look at, just last year, and Dale, if you want, I don't know how many pictures are left, but
just 2, I think.
Last year, 23 features, 6 wins, 21 top 5s, 23 top 10s. First to McLean Speedway, you won at Devil's Lake, you won at Nodak Speedway. You're good at this, man.
Yeah, I know. I know my buddies always say, who knew you were supposed to drive a sprint car your whole life, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm very blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and it's fun to go out and race, even the nights that I don't do good. Like I said, it's more about my group of guys that I have. I wouldn't want to race with anybody else. They're so helpful. If I can, I'll tell the story. Last year, our last weekend, we had a doubleheader in Devil's Lake, and opened the first night in Devil's Lake, I broke the rear end in the heat race. So I actually cracked the case, the housing, so it was junk. And I thought, well, then my year's over. There's only one night left. And before I could even get out of the car, Steve Nordrum and Cam Nordrum are rolling over their spare rear end. And then we had, I believe, every team was over at my trailer at some point trying to get me ready to get out for the feature. And we were able to. And that was another night where we started in the back. And I believe we drove it up to 5th or 4th that night. But
that was late. That was September, right?
Yep, that was our last weekend in September. It was our very last weekend of racing. So we raced Friday in Grand Forks and got rained out. That was the night we got rained out after the heat races. And then we'd race Saturday and Sunday in Devil's Lake.
You came by in 3 and 4, and it kind of did like that. It revved all the way up kind of thing before you caught it and shut it off. And I was like, oh, that's not good.
No.
I went upstairs for the feature. I was like, what the, like they got it fixed and whatever. So it was nice to hear the story about that. But.
And it's nice to know that that's just a typical story that we hear about the racetracks. It doesn't matter what kind of car you're running. Most of the time, you're going to get help from whoever to come and help you. And in that same note, Joshua Johnson says, got to thank Myles for myself getting into sprint cars. As soon as we heard he was starting the Renegades around here, Tom Cummings and I started putting cars together. You owned the Western Renegade Sprint Car Series. I remember the first year that I saw you guys. It took a little bit for it to grow on me. I love it. I absolutely love the series now. I'm so glad that we get to see you more and more. Are you always, do you think, Myles, will you stick with these wingless sprints now?
Yeah, absolutely. I have no desire to do anything else. So as long we want to do this, I want to race until my boys are old enough to race, and then I'm going to call it quits. But hopefully they still want to, race. At least I hope they want to race the sprint car of some sort, but whatever they want to do is fine. And if they don't want to race, that's okay too.
Sure.
But that's kind of mine and my wife's plan now is once the boys are old enough to start racing, we'll call her quits, and we still want to have the series go even beyond that. So if it's me running it or somebody else doing it at that time, this is 15 years away. My kids are
sure.
Of them they're little,
and I think
this isn't a 5-year. We want to continue to do this, and it's grown every year. We continue to grow and get guys, and I want it to be something that like you said, John, gets you excited to know that we're coming to your racetrack.
I do want to say this. We've only got a couple of picks left, but I do want you to commend your wife on her shoes. I absolutely love them. That is a great picture in Victory Lane.
Yep, that's from Devil's Lake in August.
Yep.
That was a good night too. I'm trying to remember. I believe that was the night that me and Nick had a really good race at the lead, and I think I got him with about 5 to go and drove it to the win.
Nice. And I think one more pick left.
You can go to the next one, and this is the Chili
There
Bowl
we
car,
go.
but there is one we kind of missed there. How neat has it been to race with Mike? He's wanted to, your dad, he's wanted to, or how did it come about to where he wanted to join you in the Renegade deal? Because you've raced with now your dad and your Uncle Stan too. Just talk a little bit about running with your family, having started this thing from scratch, and now you're all kind of involved in it.
Yeah, so even to go before that, my whole family races. Both my uncles raced for many years. One of my uncles, he still races a sport mod. And then my dad obviously has been racing since the 80s and took a break for us to grow up, raise the boys, and then we were able to get him back into racing. But he always wanted to drive a sprint car, and again, just not financially feasible to do for us to go out and have a competitive 410 program. So he raced mods, and we started this deal. And he was at the time when we started this, it was me, him, and my brother were all racing modifies. And so he raced mods for a couple years, and then finally decided to pull the trigger and drive a sprint car. And he's been having fun. We had some tough luck with him last year. We had a throttle stick, and he ended up wrecking his Triple X last year. But he's been having fun. He still can do it physically, which is really cool. My dad's 60 years old, and he's out there racing with us and just going at it and being competitive. And the coolest thing is I'm not just him, but my whole group. We're getting to let guys live out their dreams. My dad's always wanted to do this. This year we did 3 winged shows, which is where we basically just bolt the wings on, and it's kind of a fun feature for the guys to get some wing car racing in. And so my dad, his whole life, wanted to drive a wing sprint car. So we got wings from T. Young and Steve Nordrum, and got him in the car and got him out there and let him run out there for 20 laps or whatever the feature was. And the smile on his face was unbelievable. It's amazing. And of course, to get to do it as a family, this is what we like to do. We don't camp, we don't fish.
Yeah.
Go racing. So it's been amazing.
And there are other Tomlinsons watching. Samantha says, thank you. I'm talking about her shoes, I'm guessing. Stan says, your little cousin Brooklyn Tomlinson says, you're awesome. Stephen Lewis.
And to throw into that, Brooklyn's Hornet racer herself, and quite successful at it to begin her career too.
Yep. So her first year was this year, and it's actually another cool story. We all won a feature the night that one night in Underwood this year.
Right.
So she got her first career feature win in the Hornet in Underwood at our home track, McLean County Speedway. And then her dad went out and won the Sport Mod feature that night, and then I backed it up with the wingless feature win as well. So all 3 of the guys,
the trifecta. Perfect.
Yeah, took it home. Yep, she's not afraid to drive a race car, which is good.
Wow, that's awesome. I can't believe how fast the time is going. Now, you're going to be back out in the Chili Bowl on what, Saturday morning?
Yep, so we figure we'll be in probably P or O main just with the DNF. And we'll race, and as long as we keep making a transfer spot, we can race a few mains. If not, we'll just keep getting laps and hopefully not tear the race car up and have a good time. It's been great so far.
It'll be a busy day either way. You'll have 2 teammates too that are running too. So.
Yep. So we'll be there all day, and then we all help each other out. So after this, we're gonna get ready and go up. My teammate AJ Johnson is racing tonight, the 22G, I believe, or 22S, excuse me. He'll be racing tonight, and we'll be there to help him out with whatever he needs and get him going, and hopefully we have some luck.
One last question for you as far as the Chili Bowl is concerned. Are you feeling the flu yet? And for those of you that don't know the Chili Bowl flu, they have to take air breaks with the exhaust inside the building there.
Right,
so
I would guess.
Are you feeling it at all yet, or?
I haven't had any of it. My dad's had a little bit of it. He's about the only one. Me and him have been up every day. Everybody else has been taking breaks, not going up every day. That's with us. So, well, I'm sure it's going to come. Of course, when I got to go back to work next week, I'm sure I'll be feeling crummy. But yeah, it's a real thing. You got to be a diehard race fan to come to this deal because it's dirty, it's smelly, but it's awesome. It's crazy.
All right, I got one more question for you, Myles. Depending on what happens Saturday, will this be the last time we see Myles Tomlinson at the Chili Bowl, or will we see him at the 40th annual Chili Bowl Nationals?
We got to get through Saturday first, and then I want to have a discussion and see. I absolutely have had a wonderful time. I'd love to keep doing it. The team that I'm with is great. If they want me back, we'd sure have to have a discussion of it. And I definitely, as soon as I know I'd be posting on socials and everybody else would know. I'd love to do it again. It's been a wonderful experience. And like I said, we're just very blessed to be in a position where we were allowed to do this.
This is an awesome show. Myles, we've been itching to get you on the show for a long time, and I'd have to look at my phone to find out who's the one that finally got us all together here to work this out. But I can't wait to get you live in the studio one day. I will be watching Saturday as much as I can. We've got our gig up in Manville, but this was awesome, man. I so many times I only know who people are by being up in the booth and hollering their names over the loudspeaker, but this has been a great time, and we wish you the best of luck. And this was a great time, and I hope you had as much fun as we did.
Yeah, it was great. Anytime you guys want me to come on, I'd love to come on. I'd just like to do one more thing quick if I can. I want to thank Garland again, GR22 Motorsports. It's amazing to give a guy like me with no midget experience a chance, and I think at least I proved to myself that I can do it, and I think he's been more than happy, and like I said, great guy to work with, and definitely would want to work with him again. So I just want to thank him again for the opportunity, and again, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast.
All right, thank you, man. Stephen Lewis, thank you, buddy. And again, Dale, the producer, thank you. And again, thank you to Myles Tomlinson down at the 39th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals. Great talking to him. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor here in River City Speedway, Rumors Sports Bar and Casino, of course, have been with us since day number one. BT and the crew over there, I tell you what, stop in now. Any sandwich and a side is only $7. You want to go watch some UND hockey this weekend? It's the place to do it. It's the place to watch any one of your favorite sporting events because they got like 1 million TVs in there. And then don't forget to stop into Rumors to find out about the 2nd annual Sports Memorabilia Jamboree, February 1st at Rumors. They've still got a couple of tickets left. If you're into sports memorabilia, this thing is the event to go to. It's going to be exclusive for ticket holders. $100 a ticket and a chance for you to win all kinds of good stuff. So stop into Rumors Sports Bar and Casino right here in the Grand Cities Mall. By the way, next week, E85 and LRA driver Jason Strand will be in the studios. It's going to be a good time. Hey, Brew Brothers Podcast is on at 9 o'clock tonight. If you like beer, you're going to love the Brew Brothers Podcast. Have a great day. Catch you tomorrow morning. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. You never miss a show that way. Pretty cool. Forks are awesome. Grand Forks' best source is giving the Forks their identity again. Thank you, Myles.
Thanks, John. That was a lot of fun. Thanks, Steven. Thank you, Dale. Good to go? Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.